Hello, everybody. My name is James Hokonya, and I am doing a book review. The title of the book is Power. It was written by Jeffrey Pfeffer and published in 2010 by HarperCollins. I chose to do this book because of the title of the book. I was curious about power and wanted to learn from it. I was also curious about how the book related to what I had learned over the semester in the business principles of business course. Jeffrey Pfeffer is actually a PhD graduate and now a professor of organizational behavior at Stanford Business School. He's also a modern day management theorist. He's ranked one of the top thinkers on the topic of power and management and leadership issues. He has written he has written 14 books and written over 100 articles, mostly in the area of leadership and organizational behavior, and several columns in economics and business magazines. So this background alone and him sitting on several boards of public and private organizations, to me represents that he is qualified to talk on this topic of power. And actually the book is based on case studies of the people that I mentioned as examples in the book, and these are the case studies that he personally worked on, and now he's trying to explain his study as well as give an analysis. The thesis of the book is actually power, why some people have it and why some people don't. So that's what he tries to interrogate, and he tries to make the reader understand, appreciate that anybody can attain power, and it's actually a matter of skill and a matter of wanting to earn power. The book actually talks about individuals who rose to power from some of the most powerless and humble beginnings. Mr. Pfeffer describes how they reached their status of power through various means, and I think they're very good examples as well, because each example is different in different fields, and some are examples from different countries like India, Pakistan, as well as the United States. So this book actually cuts across a lot of demographics. For example, he speaks of Keith Ferrazzi, who is one of the youngest successful business people who has got into power at a very young age. He also speaks of very mature people who have been in the business for a while, CEOs and medical doctors as such. In the book, he points out to three obstacles to power. On the issue of just world hypothesis, he is brutal in just saying the world is not a fair place, and most people think that people get what they deserve, and that good people will get rewarded for being good, and bad people will be punished. But he says that this is actually what happens in the world is the opposite. This is how he talks about it in the book. And in terms of the hand-me-down formulas on leadership, he talks about most people who write about books on leadership give usually a personal biography, which is prescriptive and does not really might not really match everybody, and so he actually does not appreciate that in his book. And he says the third obstacle is yourself, because um, you are the one who makes the decision. Your mindset has to be right for wanting to attain power. You have to know why you should attain power, and just believing that you can actually get power. Benefits that Mr. Pfeffer gives for having power are the potential to earn a lot of money, and he gives the example of Hillary and Bill Clinton, as well as Rudy Giuliani, who have earned lots of money from speaking. And secondly, he notes through the research of Marmot that owning power has had an effect of giving people a longer life, because they're not stressed. They also have a healthy life. They're not stressed by the usual struggles of not having your way if you don't have power. And thirdly, he states that it's also power is good for leadership, because that's what helps you get the jobs done. The book has 13 chapters, and I think that all the chapters are very key in attaining power and keeping power. The book talks about how performance alone is not enough to earn somebody power. One needs to be skillful. One needs to understand that the organization has politics. Any organization has politics in any part of the world. One needs to know how to manipulate that politics. The book also talks about standing out, that it is important to stand out and to break the rules, because people who come and do the same thing do not stand out. People who are not celebrities do not stand out, and so they are forgettable, and because of that they don't earn any power. People who make something out of nothing again stand out, and obviously they also create resources when they make something out of nothing, and those are the resources that are important for earning power. The book also talks about building social networks, how important that is, and I think this is also very, very true. And again, he emphasizes the need to act and speak with power, and how that can get you from one place in the organization to the very top. And he gives an example over there of how one army personnel won a court case where he had done things that people thought that he should have gone to jail, but because he spoke with power and confidence, he actually managed to win the case. He also speaks about building a reputation in the book, and overcoming oppositions and setbacks. And towards the end of the book, he talks about when you've gotten some power, it is good to leave gracefully, or know when to leave, because that way you keep a legacy. The book also emphasizes the need to understand power dynamics, where not to tread, and who to deal with, knowing that other people are trying to get your job all the time, even though they may not say it. And it gives many examples of different people who have been through that kind of experience. And then in the end, the last chapter 13, it sums up the book, and also tries to explain how it is possible to attain power no matter one's circumstances. Some of the examples that are in the book. Real life people, Keith Ferrazzi, who was at the age of 32, was named the youngest CMO, which is Chief Marketing Officer in the Fortune 500. And he rose to power because of a series of strategic power moves that he made in his earlier days, right from Yale, where he created the Sigma Chi chapter, and that actually, that's where he started building his networks, and he was actually named a master of networking. Again, that's how he rose to power, and that's why he's one of the most successful people. He also mentions in the book Zia Yusuf, who is also a business leader. He gives examples of Zia Yusuf's early days at SAP, and where he started leading a department of SAP called SAP Markets, and he built it from just 2 people, 2 personnel strong staff to 100 strong staff. And again, here I think what I can take from it is, in terms of what I've learned, is how to create and to manage teams. And the book also kind of gives examples of social responsibility through some of its examples, like Zia Yusuf, who co-founded Imuka Singers in Tanzania, and is also a board member for developments in literature, which is an organization that builds schools for girls in Pakistan. He also talks about another good example, Laura Esserman, who is nationally known as one of the top cancer surgeons, and really she's a game changer, because she had to go through the grind, just trying to get those changes in the delivery of breast cancer services and information system to be used to support both research and patient care. Esserman actually emphasizes the importance of knowing when to let go, making allies, and working in teams, and making sure that all allies benefit and get credit for what they deserve. I can connect the needs theory to a lot of power, how to get power. So the need here being wanting to be recognized, wanting to earn a lot of money, wanting to live a long time, wanting to have power, motivates people to the steps to earn power. So the needs theory for motivation. Again, politics and organizational behavior. I guess the book says that it's a dog-eat-dog scenario in every organization, and only the strategic people will make it rise to the top. When you look at politics and how you can rise to power, if used well. Importance of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. I guess, because you have to own resources in order to be powerful. There are many examples that touch on organizational environment and culture. In conclusion, I think this book is powerful and fresh. It's only 5 years old, and it also invokes strong emotions of anger, fear, disappointment, courage, excitement, and hope. And I would recommend everybody who aspires to be a leader, at least, even students who are studying, to read this book and learn from the do's and don'ts of how to earn power. This book is also a good source of case studies of sources of non-mainstream successful leaders that people can actually use as reference, or can students who are managing and who are majoring in business can actually study. Um, what I like about the book is that it's not prescriptive, rather it lets the reader know his options and how best to manifest power. I think the book provokes the reader to challenge the notion of power, um, that power is bad or an evil thing, and realize that it can be beneficial in the workplace, and it can be beneficial to the person. I think it also encourages the reader how to be develop and wield power, and how to deal with the stumbling blocks and achieving power. Besides that, the book is very entertaining and inspiring, mostly because the author is passionate about his topic, and there's again that brutal, unapologetic belief of how power is a good thing and how you should actually attain power. I also appreciate that the author captures diverse examples in his in terms of demographics and geography. And that's my review of the book Power by Jeffrey Pfeffer. Thank you for listening.